This episode of Hard Knocks Sulphur Springs is brought to you by Nottingham Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Sulphur Springs.
And the bass keeps running, running, and 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 running, running, and.
Give me some, coach. Is that good?
I ate oatmeal this morning and I'm still hungry. I mean, it should make you full though, don't it?
Dobson Martin, senior, running back.
Jaxon Virgel, I play wide receiver. I will be a junior this year and this is my second year on varsity.
My name is Quinn Harris. I play tight end, senior this year. I mean, first week it was pretty rough.
It's just been a grind. We've been grinding on offense, trying to get our offense better since we lost our O-line, but I think our O-line has stepped up and has played a big role in our run game. And then our defense, they've been doing good.
But I got used to it, and then from there, everything's been good.
It's definitely a young team. You know, we got to bring the energy for the young ones. They're not used to it yet. You know, once they get a big play, they'll be confident. It'll be new for them, but I think they'll do great. I think the scrimmage is going to determine almost a pretty big part of the season for those new guys. They're going to need some big plays, get some confidence in them, and then we'll be good. You know, it's been a grind. You had to get on their backs. All the new guys, you have to get onto them. They got to go. So, you know, I think we had a pretty good first 2 weeks, just a bunch of new guys.
I played the Little League as a Wildcat, yeah. I've been here my entire life playing football here. It's great. You know, as a little kid, I never thought I would be here, but I'm here now. I'm just working.
I mean, my dad has played here, my uncles have played here, so I like to carry on their legacy. My dad had an offer to go play Miami, but he didn't take it. He just wanted to go work because he thought that's what was best for him in the situation. So my dad was a safety though. He was never a wide receiver. I mean, I've always lived here. I moved here when I was 6, and then we never moved away. We loved it here.
I was a little kid, never thought I would play on Friday nights, but it's like a movie out there. You know, everybody loves coming to Gerald Prim Stadium.
What was kind of the moment where you realized okay, I'm here. I'm a Wildcat.
Bullard. That's when it was, when I had a head top and then I ran a little post up the seam and scored a touchdown. I think it was my first touchdown too. And after that, that's just when I knew, I just took over. And
set your helmet. Hurry, you got 30 seconds. Or I changed my mind. Give me a group, let's go. He went away, so what do my feet do? Throttle, and we said green, so my eyes are right. Here we go. Good, 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 good. Hurry back, hurry back. Gold, 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 gold. Easy there, Chief. Easy there, Chief. Here we go. Sit, 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 sit. Good, good. If it runs into me, what? It's mine. If it runs into me, it's mine.
My name is Peter Medlock. This is my 5th year at Sulphur Springs, my 18th year coaching. I'm the assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, and offensive line coach. To have a group like we've had the last 3 years for sure, and a couple of those guys playing for 4 years, at a 4A school and at the vast majority of the high schools in the state, you're not going to have a class like that very often to where you're just so talent rich with all the measurables and kind of everything rolled into one. It's been a little bit of a transition this year because obviously we lost 4 starters and technically 5 from last year. Knowing we were going to have holes to fill, the good news is we had the people. A lot of the guys that were coming up for us either were on the JV and played really well last year, or they were guys who were on the varsity as juniors and they were backups. Starting on the left side, Dede Berry. He's our lone returning starter from last year. Had a great season last year. Very smooth, very athletic. Really understands well what we're doing. Kind of taking a little bit of a leadership role in our group this year, which is what we needed. At left guard, we have Braden Boatman. He's a junior. He played last year exclusively on the JV and just grew up immensely. He's one of the better pullers that we've had, and we pull our guards and our tackles as a regular part of our scheme, and so he's been phenomenal this spring. Could not be happier. At center right now, we've got a sophomore named Brady Morris, very athletic, very smart. Means a lot to him. He's very, very, very committed to getting himself where he needs to be, which is always hard for a sophomore. He had a great spring, great summer. He's gotten better every day. Because he's so interested in growing, he will only get better. Got a little competition going on at right guard. James Winnett Moore and Josh Cortez are really still battling it out for that spot. Both are seniors, understand what we're doing. It means the world to them. Both are completely capable of having that job, and so we're going to evaluate that thing for another week or so before we declare a starter. And finally, at right tackle is Aiken Grimes. He's a junior. He was on the JV last year. Probably the most improved guy that we've had. He's gone from being a little unsure of himself to being one of the more sure of himself, aggressive, violent players that we have. Really could not be more thrilled with him. He's another guy who it means the world to him. He wants to do everything right. He wants to understand all the parts and pieces, even the parts and pieces that aren't his problem. He locked that place down very quickly this spring. Senior Hagen Potts is going to be kind of our swing tackle. Another guy that's taken 1 million reps between the JV and freshman team over the last 3 years. Marcos Velasquez is going to be another guard for us. Was on the JV last year as a sophomore, has grown and improved so much. Very, very fluid with his feet, very athletic, very capable, very, very smart. And our backup center, senior Keegan Edwards, was in that role last year. He'll also be playing some defensive line for us. And so this fall, we've been splitting time with him, but because of the number of snaps he's taken over the last 3 years, he's really comfortable with what we do. And then Brody Spraggins is another senior that was on the JV last year, has done a really good job, been actually hampered with an injury for the last few days, but he was getting some really quality reps and really impressed with how he was playing before he hurt his finger. So he's been down for a few days, and we're hoping to get him back in the next week. As far as how we have transition from, a senior heavy O-line last year to a group of young guys, man, you couldn't ask for more with what they've committed to it and how they've transitioned. And I'm really excited, to see how they can continue to develop, because the way they're working right now tells me that that's all they're going to do is develop and get better. To go from where we were this time a year ago with virtually every one of those guys to where we're standing right now, it's remarkable, and I give them all the credit for it. They have done a phenomenal job. And so when you're losing 4 full-time starters and really a 5th guy that is a starter, that we classified as a starter, and you're only bringing back 1 starter this year, it absolutely had all the question marks. The guys that were able to stay and play on the JV and get a ton of snaps last year have really become the guys that a program develops. Our juniors that have stepped into starting roles, who, especially the ones that were on the JV last year, they walked in, and the level of understanding how to practice what we demand, the transition has truly been as seamless as it could be when you're replacing 4 starters and 4 entrenched starters, not 4 guys who played a little bit, 4 guys who had close to 40 starts under their belt. They have just really exhibited what our program can do because of the way that they have grown into these roles. As much as I was concerned about it, I've just been really, really pleased and really, really proud of what they've done. And I give some credit to those guys that graduated, because they set a great standard, and they really did. And I would be remiss to not mention, Jeff and Vince and Aiden and Tripp and Josh, because they set a standard for how we work, and they set a standard for how we have to mentally and approach it, and the attitude that we got to play with, and the attitude we got to work with, and the attitude we got to study and learn with. Where we may not be 6'6", 320, we're playing like we are, and we're trying to play at that level. And so for that's all you can ask out of a high school kid. You can't ask anything more than to hold that kind of standard. We coached the previous class at an exceedingly high level with a lot of nuance and a lot of just really detailed, minuscule coaching. And because they were at practice with us, getting some of the reps, getting to see how it worked, getting to slow grow into it. Now they've just walked into it, and we didn't have to go back and say, well, we can't do that because we don't have X standing there. We just say, this is what we do. Hey, you're going to have to get better at this part of it, but we're able to continue on. And to a certain degree, they have better understanding at their age because they've already been through it. It's not new to them. It was new to those guys when they were younger. It's not new to these guys. They don't know anything else. And so what we're correcting at this stage of things, I feel like, I stress out over it, but my gosh, the things that we're correcting are not what to do's. We're legitimately at the point of mastering the how to do it and where my eyes are and what I feel and what I see and what this movement this way means to what's happening over here. We don't have assignment busts to any degree that causes me any concern right now because they understand what we're getting at and they've mastered what we do, and what we do is a lot.
Every breath you take, and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you.
Okay? Understand this. We want this to look like Black Book or Black Hat. That's the point here. If I have no gap threat, my next question is, do I have something I can punch? You took one step, and instead of sprinting to that spot, you took one step and it wasn't far enough and you stayed here. So now he's running up the field on me, is he not? Once I take the wide step that puts my screws in the point, come on! Up there good, punch him, he falls in, bam, post it. And keep square because I could have any number of things. Do I know a looper ain't coming? I can't know that. I can't know that. I can't know that the jack's not firing late. We have to be aware that, again, this is just like red. If you got inside movement, you're post and pillar and stay square, stay square, stay square. Take it. Hold on right there. Marcos, don't run away until I see color, right? Quick swig of water, position ready. How many reps have we gotten versus even front? Say all of them. So should I have to go back and review the things? Okay, so we're gonna start working on Pittsburgh. I need your odd front brain on. Everybody hear me on that. And I better not have a blown assignment because we did odd front drill work today. Are we understood? Blue, but we could call ice and you get covered. And then you have to call the deuce and then you gotta butt tap it and all the things, right? We have a way to work that out. What is my coaching point, my step sequence? What am I thinking on the ace here? And what about my hands? I am full bench. Help, the four's on this side. Cool, fire alert. Gallop it, absolutely, because we got an ace. Hey, nobody's home, get back. Okay, do it one more time.
Obviously, your son plays for the team, and last year was his debut season on varsity and had a great season. Before I ask anything else, just what was your experience like getting to, this is his first time being on varsity and everything. What was that experience like for you?
Every coach who has a son that plays handles it differently. And the dynamic is always different. My high school head coach, his youngest son was our quarterback in high school. He and I are the same age, and he was at a number 3 in the Elite 11, went to the University of Miami. I got to watch that dynamic. I've also gotten to watch Coach Fairclough deal with his son playing. We've had coaches along the way be the same. I've gotten to observe it a lot. Our offensive coordinator at Brownwood when I was in high school, his son played for him at Denton Geyer and was a great quarterback, went on to Oklahoma State and played quarterback. And he said, I never want to rob my son the chance to have a coach. He said, because as his dad, I'm going to coach him. But he has to go home and eat dinner with me. And he has to go on vacation with me. And so I'm not going to be the only coach in his life. I'm going to hire a quarterback's coach that's going to coach him because I have to be dad. And he gets to have a coach. I have really worked hard at deferring to our coaches that coach Jaxon because we have great coaches. I couldn't pick anybody better to coach Jaxon than Andrew Dunn and Casey Jeter and Matt Newton and Duke Fitz. I would be a fool if I had to coach my son in everything. And so I have really worked hard at disciplining myself that I'm going to be dad, and dad is going to have some demands, and dad is going to have some expectations, but I have to defer to those guys because they're great men and they're great coaches. And when my son graduates, I'll still have a relationship with him, but I want him to have a relationship with those 4 guys too, because they're going to see things in my son, both the good and the bad, that as dad I won't see. And I want their influence in his life. And in 40 years, I still want him to text Coach Dunn and Coach Jeter and Coach Newton and Coach Fitz. I still want that relationship to be there. I'm secure as dad, but I want him to have coaches, and I want him to have the high school experience of having great coaches around him. It's a real joy because of how much he loves the program and he loves to play. Our program is all he's ever known. He was 5 years old when I went to Port Neches to work for Coach Faircloth, and so the way we do it is what he's known. And he's had the privilege of watching just unbelievable players. You go down the list of some guys that we've had along the way that have had a great relationship with Jaxon, and he's gotten to see an angle of the program that no other kid gets to see. He understands some things that others don't, and it's not their fault. It's just he's gotten to watch it. And so he understands on a level of what we expect in the high demands that other kids are not going to. And that's every coach's kid, but he's just had a real blessing in his life because he's gotten to be around some great players as a little bitty old kid, you know, standing out there hanging out with Rashawn, snapping the ball to Rashawn, or, you know, getting chased around by my O-lineman and getting thrown in the trash can and just, you know, whatever, but gets to see the work and gets to see what they put in. And there's nobody that it meant more to as a little 6, 7, 8-year-old when you realize, like, hey, Rashawn's done playing, and, you know, little kid doesn't understand that, but it grew him up. It matured him in a way that he understands the time, how time works, and so it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of fun to see the fruit of those relationships, because I as dad, I can see those relationships mean something to how he plays and how he prepares and how his brain works, and so that's been awesome.